Gives me great pleasure to introduce the last of the season's fan roundtable, Sussex by the Sea podcast, episode 141. Ridiculous amount, eh? 141, decent knock if Jeffrey was batting. But lovely to see everyone here. I know Rob can't wait to start talking about his wonderful Horsham boys. A season over, a season to forget for some, a season to absolutely remember for others. And we're all going to talk about this wonderful event that went on in front of us in the next half an hour. We got our wonderful guests here, Terry from Margate, Ian from the mighty Hastings, Robert from that Horsham team that have managed to win it on the last day, and John from Canvey. Hello to you all.
Evening.
Good evening.
All right, we're gonna keep Rob waiting a little while, okay? Not straight away. But he's
Carry on drinking.
Yeah, exactly. Drinking that champagne. But we're gonna go to John from Canvey first because you avoided the relegation. And it seems we've got a new manager coming in. Round up your season, John, and who do you think's taking over?
Yeah, that's a big question in terms of who's taking over, really. Rounding up the season, I could probably score it out of 10. I guess it'll be about 4. I think I've discussed this with a few people I know, other Canvey fans. I said really in terms of enjoyable games this year, I could probably count them on one hand. But look, obviously the positives first and foremost, as you say. We stayed up against quite a lot of the odds of things going on in the background, even in the foregrounds. We know with poor runs, we have stayed up. You're in this league for another year. We've seen how highly a competitive league it is, so that is something to be thankful for, definitely. Obviously, a cup under the belt as well, which was a brilliant thing to see. That definitely would be one of those 5 games I enjoyed. Getting on one hand, but yeah.
Well, the other 2 were against Hastings, weren't they, John? Fuck's sake.
Well, to be fair, one of them probably was. Probably put that one at home, to be honest. Yeah, a couple of that with maybe a double against Chatham and maybe what was one of the other ones I really enjoyed. I don't know, maybe I'm trying to think of one of the other really good wins we had. Really, the Lewis one. Beating Lewis, what we did was good. That was probably one of the last times we put in. I'd say maybe a cup final side, a convincing performance. So. There have been highlights sprinkled about it, but obviously it's been offset by a lot of challenges on the pitch, a few challenges off it, sort of things. I won't touch too much on, but I think it's taken this toll, a lot of stress on fans, definitely taking it on me. It's a shame. It's killed a lot of enjoyment about it. People know how passionate I'm about Canvey and
definitely
sporting up over there. But yeah, it's probably been one of the more challenging seasons for it in that regard. So I think we've all kind of needed to get into the end of the season now, have this break, and hopefully, things will
refreshed.
But it's just a bit of a sad way that it's kind of ended. Really, it's the end of an era with our manager gone. And I'll talk about kind of him and the sort of legacy he's left behind. But I guess people would have liked to have seen him go out in more of a blaze of glory, really, because. For the manager he has been, Brad Wellman that is, and obviously his assistant Sammy. They're people that we as fans who do go quite regularly have got on really well with. They've made sure to have that ethos of keeping the squad and the fans really tight-knit through the good and the bad times, and I think thankfully it all kind of blossomed in good times. They got us promoted. Having to take over halfway through a season, managed to keep a really good squad together as well, which can be hard to do. When you see managers step away, you see exoduses everywhere, don't you? But they kept a really good squad together, added to it with a lot of quality as well. And that momentum carried on when we got promoted into the next season when we made playoffs. Again, you see it with a lot of sides. You've seen it certainly with Chichester and Cray Valley this season when that momentum snowballs, it can be a big force to stop. And it just felt like, that almost felt like Cloud 9 in terms of watching Canvey at the time. But I think obviously as time has gone on, there's been a lot of challenges they've had to overcome. Keeping that consistency in a really tough division with the limited resources they might have had at times has, been hard. And I think last season, I think you can maybe contribute a few things that were out of their control, maybe to where we ended up and finished, but we still again stayed up, beat that second season syndrome. This season it's been a lot harder. there's been a lot of moments where I know obviously things, other factors have come into play, but maybe times where I don't know things seem to have broken down a little bit between the squad, and I think it's taken its toll maybe on the relationship between us and the team as well as supporters of the team, which is a shame because there have been a lot of long-serving boys in that team, a lot of good characters as well. And I think that's going to be one thing that's going to be sad, seeing a few of them go. We've still got 3 boys we have 4 boys actually in the squad. One did leave for a season but come back. But at the very least, I think 4 of them are on over 150 appearances. 2, I think, one definitely made 200 this season. There was another who maybe was just off of it. So really good boys, really solid characters to have at the club. The likelihood is now with that management team gone, they'll probably go and it will be a completely new squad next season. But, whilst that is sad in one respect, it might be good in another. It might freshen things up a bit.
Time waits for no one.
Exactly, yeah. It all depends now really on who we bring in and if that person is backed, I think they've got to be at this level now it's only going to be a harder league next year. Some really good clubs, really ambitious clubs coming into it, like your Ramsgate, your Brentwood, big teams coming down like Welling, and obviously still have the likes of Billericay and Dartford about. Yeah, it's going to be something we're going to need.
You've lost your 6-pointer. You've lost your 6-pointer. We've gone down.
To be fair, Rob's lost a 6-pointer as well enough, so yeah. But no, yeah, I think it's something we're going to have to be fully prepared for. I mean, personally, me employing someone, I would personally go for someone who didn't have any prior association with the club. I think it's got to be someone who can bring in a fresh approach. Obviously, someone who has a decent contact book as well, because that is an invaluable resource, particularly for a little club like us, that maybe doesn't have the war chest to bring in the better players. I think, someone who's going to come in and maybe create their own efforts in the squad again, and a lot like what Brad Woodman and Sammy Knott did for us. But
got any names knocking about? I know we had a little chat and you said maybe like a Peter Taylor might be possibly.
Yeah, I mean,
any other names?
That's a name that's rung in the past before. And if I'm personally honest, it's not one that I would go for myself.
Danny Blorsbury?
That's it, yeah, about that as well. But no, I mean, there are names knocking about now, There seem to be a few that have achieved well at the level below on limited resources, or other names have become available. People like Brad Quinton have become available from Dulwich now. Why he was sacked there, I'm not sure. It seemed a bit of a harsh one, but it's taking that time now. I'd rather us not rush into making an appointment, find the right appointment, make sure that appointment's backed, and we build a new team from there. So I think it's kind of does leave it with a bit of a blank canvas next year. I don't imagine it's going to. Well, I don't imagine it's going to be a thrilling season again. I think it's going to be another struggle, but if we can. I guess that's kind of our expectation now, to stay at this level, upset the odds in that regard. And we can do that again. Maybe it's something to build on. But thankfully now, I think for a lot of people, it's just good that we've gotten into that summer now. Just that time to refresh and recharge, really, We'll see where it takes us next year. And it's going to be under a new direction. Yeah. We'll see what happens.
You sound like you're relegated. You sound like you're relegated, John.
I think that is probably the toll this season's taken on me, mate. I think looking at it now, I think I'm still thinking in the lens of how things have been.
Yeah.
And maybe just with, I don't know. I think that's probably how a few people have looked at it, really, when I'm talking to other Canvey fans as well. They're saying about, X and Y has come up short, in certain terms, or we're going to struggle next season as a result. And to be honest, I've been talking to a few people about just saying, look, I just want to switch off from that now for a couple of months. It's a shame because it's killed a lot of enjoyment I may have got from it otherwise. I've turned certain things down that I've been doing for the club for multiple reasons, really. But maybe, as I say, just having that time now to step away from it for a little bit. Hopefully, by the time July rolls around, we've got a new manager in place. We've got the makings of a new squad. That might be cause for renewed optimism, So, once we get to that, we'll see where it goes.
When you see, maybe give the club a bit of time, and they might come back to you on a few things, and maybe treat you fans with a little bit more respect. From the outside looking in, they've not been good. So, just my 2 pence.
We'll see. We'll see how that goes. I'm not holding out that much hope in that. I'm more hopeful that I guess what I'm probably more hopeful for, or at least hoping for, is that we can get a kind of united fan base there again. That's one thing I prefer first before anything else, because we did have a lot of unity there as a fan base at club at Canvey.
Mm.
I think that was one of our best factors as a club, having that togetherness amongst the fans.
Yeah.
A core of people who would go home and away, and yeah, that seems to have fractured a bit this season, which has been, I think, the biggest shame of everything. So I'm hoping now, like I say, we have that time to step away for a little bit, take a breather, and hopefully, we come back with a bit more united front next year, and that can be one of our club's biggest strengths, really, having that. So yeah, fingers crossed.
Yeah, a very sober John there, giving his Canvey thoughts. We have Ian here. Hello, Ian.
Hello, sorry I was so late.
That's a naughty, very naughty boy. I'll tell you what, let's have Rob on. Come on, let's lift the mood slightly before we then start talking. We
I
start
thought that was a
dipping
perfect,
again.
perfect pathway there when you said sober, and then to me, I thought that's sort of a hint.
Oh, exactly. Exactly.
Perfect link. That's a perfect link.
Well, Rob, again, as I mentioned before, Hastings have been top of the league longer than you, but
Yeah.
you did it at the right time.
Yeah,
What a season. Just breathless stuff I saw in the old socials, your fan base, also your players having a great time. It's good to see. I still drink out of my Horsham Tears cup.
Yeah, I see that. That's a great choice.
Yeah, but that's one's for you, mate. But
Cheers,
please talk about what's been a fantastic season for your lot.
Yeah, I think that's complete opposite. I think we've been. I think you go back to the beginning of the season if you want to do I'll do a mini season review. The first 8 or 9 games, I think we lost 8 the first half or something, in things. So we weren't going over as much, and I think come November, December, we're out of the FA Cup, but we sort of kick on even under Dom's leadership before in the last 10 years. Even when we haven't been promoted, the back end of the season, we sort of put a run on together. Why that is, I have no idea. I think it's just the way we do things. But yeah, it's been, what can I say? I think the last 3 or 4 months, it's been, as a supporter, it's been the most entertaining, fun, day away days, home games, everything. You turn up to a game, every kick means something. And as a fan, that's all you want, really. It's been brutal. We've had to win every game. We won 7 on the trot towards the end of the season. Like Dom's post-match interviews were saying on Saturday, we had to win them. We were there, and I think Cheshunt away when we scored when Lee Harding scored that last second goal. I think you're thinking, hang on a bit, we can do. With a few games to go, these are things you look back on. I think Dartford away, the beginning of March, they celebrated when we were 1-0 up, and it should have been more. And they got 2 late goals, and they celebrated in front of their fans like they won the league. And I think Dom was saying, look, they're celebrating that win. Let's see what we can do from now in the season. So things like that sort of helped and contributed. But yeah, what you say, we had cup runs, FA Trophy runs. We've got a final to look forward to. There's nothing you can do but praise the football club. It's been the most enjoyment that I've ever been a part of. And that Saturday, the final day, it was. I say to people who not necessarily follow non-league football, but follow like league football, Premier League, not last game of the season. Sky would have paid a fortune for that entertainment. It was like you're turning up there. We knew Billy Ricky would win. It's how many we would win by or how many we'd need, and then how the whole sequence of the day went. I tried to drink through it, but I still remember.
I'm sure you did.
Yeah, I did try my best, but 2,500 fans there, and then people telling us, what the score was, and we go 1-0 down. You think, oh, sorry, we've sort of screwed it up here. And then literally to score as Billy Ricky were going 1-0 down. So the whole timeline of it all was unbelievable. And then right at the end of the day, missing 2 penalties. It should have been 8 or 9-1, really. Yeah. But then, Billy Ricky sort of getting that late surge on and scoring. And they missed a penalty. I didn't know they missed a penalty till Sunday afternoon, if I'm being brutally honest, when I look back at the highlights. But yeah, so and then the whole it felt like for about 10-15 minutes after the final whistle, because Billy Ricky had about 900 minutes of injury time. And we won it, and it just went euphoric. You see kids with smiles and people were crying. I was like, Jesus. So yeah, then the clubhouse was a great vibe, and then we went into town.
Horsham tears, were they crying Horsham tears?
Definitely tears. Yeah, tears of joy. Yeah. So yeah, then we went to town and went to the pub, and the players turned up afterwards. So yeah, it was as a whole, it was beat. Like for me, Barnsley away was probably one of the best days that I've had. But that's toppled it by a country mile. if you can't enjoy moments like that, when can you? So we've been on euphoria from that moment, from the final whistle. And then we're just enjoying it. Then we got obviously the cup final on Thursday night to go to. So it's a nice sort of crescendo to a great season that no one can complain about and moan about. And then we'll see what happens next season. It's
you kept moaning you don't score enough goals.
Yeah,
I believe you may have scored one.
Well, we had to, you wanted me to something to moan about. That was about it, to be honest with you. Dicko's obviously top goal scorer, so he had them, and you have to pick at something as a fan, don't you? So, but no, you can't. And then we'll see what next season brings. I think, like speaking to Dom afterwards, it's pretty pleasing that the 18 players that finished that game on Saturday were the original 18 that turned up for pre-season. We only had 30 players the whole season, and every single one of them has contributed in some way. So we've been fortunate in that, and then we'll see. Let's say we go Thursday, see what happens after that, and then I'm sure there'll be some news coming out from the club who's staying and going, and when we go from there and we kick on like next season, it hasn't really sunk in yet. Until those fixtures probably get released. But when you see these playoffs now, that you're looking at Dorking losing, so that's obviously going to be a Boxing Day game, I would imagine. Worthing, Eastbourne. Torquay obviously did it. So it's those sort of things, and you think, hang on a minute, we're playing these teams and sort of arranging weekends away. So that's still the enjoyment of it. So we'll see what next season brings. But this season's been the best ever. And we've always improved under Dom every season. And even if we finish bottom next season and get relegated, we're still that one place higher than we were this season. So, that's all you can ask for, is improvement year in, year out. And it'll be interesting to see next season. I was saying to a lot of people, if you've come the last 2 or 3 years, you've known nothing but success, really. And then next season, obviously, there's no two ways about it. I think we could surprise a few, but it's going to be it's a brutal lead that, it's top heavy, it's bottlenecked at the top. So we'll see. We'll surprise a few, but we'll see what happens. But we're just going to bloody enjoy it and see what happens, I suppose. That's a lardy way of doing it, So
well, yeah,
that's a good time.
Yeah, like we were saying before we started recording, we were saying about Billericay when they were playing Hastings. First half, I think, was it 4-0? Ian, was it
5-1?
It was 5-1, and they didn't score any in the second half, did they, or did they get one?
No, they didn't. No, it was 0-0 in the second half.
So they switched. They switched off.
The great thing is, obviously, after the game or before the game and the week leading up on all the football chats, people are saying all these scenarios about, if we hadn't scored there or we missed that penalty, like Hamo. Even someone mentioned the Hamo penalty at Hastings at the beginning of the season, and I was saying, well, you could look at that, but you can look at when we went down to Dover on New Year's Day when it should have been really called off, and we won there, and that was the start of it. And you go back on a Tuesday night, exactly. You can look at anything really, but to come down on goal difference, and then to find out on Thursday when the presentation was there that the cup was actually at Billericay. That made it that little bit sweeter. I must admit.
Get Femi to bring it to you.
Yeah, it was. There was rumours it was like in the middle ground, but to take it somewhere, it's only 2 goals really. It's not like if they won, it confirmed. But I think one of the club officials ran into the clubhouse, pulled a cup out of the cabinet, and stuck a Horsham badge on it, and we used that. So we had a bloody good time with that. So so it was like I said, the whole season as a whole. To potentially do the double, it's dreams really where we were. So it's I haven't really been. I've been on cloud 9, and I haven't come off it yet. So Thursday's going to be loud. It's going to be a carnival atmosphere, regardless. We're all going into Brighton beforehand, and it's just going to be a good fun day out and celebration, really. So, and hopefully we can top it off like we did last year. So,
stop reminding me of that, please.
That's all right. Yeah. I'll change my background photo for you. So,
no, great stuff. Well done, Horsham.
I appreciate it. The messages as well. It was all you guys. I appreciated it. It's what non-league's all about at the end of the day, isn't it? You can take a bit of banter and a bit of fun, but when someone does well, you'll appreciate it. So, no, it was good. Yeah.
Okay. Well, talking of doing well, let's swap that round. Doing not so well. Let's talk to Ian.
Hello.
Drew the last 2 and went down. Was it down by a point?
Down by a point. Yeah. So we didn't lose in any of our 9 last games. I think our last defeat was against Galston, and just far too many draws in the last in the last 10 games. I think we only picked up 2 wins, and Newmarket and Wroxham. I think we drew with both Newmarket and Wroxham during that period, and we'd led in both of those games, I think. So we were 2-0 up against Newmarket. If we'd held on to that, we would have been fine. But we actually played all right. Like at the end of the season, it felt like we looked like a team. We looked like a team that we were still conceding far too many late goals, but we looked fine. I mean, the issue was the points we dropped sort of earlier in the season. Particularly, the one that really stings is Basildon, because they started really well, and then they just kind of went to pieces, and they picked up something like since sort of the end of October, I think they picked up 5 points, and one of them was a game against us where they went down to 10 players, and also we were 2-1 up, and we needed an injury time equaliser to salvage a point there. But that's kind of like everybody beat Basildon. They were getting absolutely battered every single week, and they came out away from Coles Park with a point. So yeah, on the plus side, we're really well placed for the AGM Cup.
Yeah,
if anybody fancies going bust, I think we are like the next team in line to benefit. So keeping an eye out on the old London Gazette.
Oh, okay.
I think we're going to the so the guy who does the spreadsheet seems to think we are going to the Spartan South Midlands League. So
okay. My spy John was telling me that we were going in the Essex League, but obviously
it's
my source let me down. Go on, John.
I was going to say, I suppose kind of where you guys are at Haringey, I guess it floats on the border of the two, really.
Yeah.
Being certain clubs trade crossing the combined counties, and at Spartan South Midlands, and
I mean, we've certainly been in both since I've been going down borough. I don't know which one I prefer to be in. Probably the Spartan South Midlands at this point, because I think we were in the Essex Senior League more recently. I've been to a few more of those places.
Yeah, I mean, what's your fan base think, Ian?
So we've been getting to 200-300. Let me just look what our average was over the season, but 306, and we had on the game against Walthamstow, we're over 600 there.
That's good.
And so fans are still coming, and we'll be one of the better supported teams in the division below, and hopefully, if we actually have something to celebrate. I know I said that 12 months ago, that it would be nice to actually win some games. Well, this time it will be really nice to win some games.
But I mean, what about obviously you talk to other fans. I mean, what do they think? Do they think you're gonna be up there with promotion, or is it you hope you're gonna stop the slide?
I think we have to be, don't we? It's like we can't. You can't just keep going down. I think that I was really surprised how bad we were this season, because actually the standard of football is a real step below the Isthmian Premier. And you're watching quite a lot of teams and thinking, God, this lot of dog shit, and then they turn you over. And
I thought that this season.
That's a step on the Isthmian North to a T. There are so many stubborn little sides in there, just like anti-football teams, but they will roll you over. And you think, how we lose that? So many times with that with Canvey.
But I mean, I think there is a real drop in quality between step 4 and 5. So I mean, and I think that quite a few of the players are probably going to stick around, because I don't think they're getting very much money at Borough. And they probably won't get any more money anywhere else. And I mean, to be honest, I would be quite happy to keep a lot of them around as well. The people who turn up week in, week out. Quite a lot of them were there as we were going up, and a lot of them are still there now. So it's kind of you take the rough with the smooth a little bit.
Okay, well, yeah, all right, Ian. Well, I wish you luck, mate. I wish you luck for next season. You'll come back on when I start this up again, won't you?
Oh, yeah.
Giving us the Spartan League rundown. Yeah?
Yeah, certainly.
Certainly. No, great. Thanks for that. Right then, let's go to shall we do Hastings now, or let's do Margate? Let's do Hastings at the end. You can listen to us all moan at the end. Rob, it'll cheer you up, mate. Drinking Hastings tears. Terry, talking of tears, I'm really sorry you didn't get through in the playoffs. Obviously, we can now play you at your on away day, so I'm very much looking forward to seeing you.
I'm taking that as a positive. At least I get to try that hairpin bloody bend going up towards your ground in our minibus. It was the first thing I thought was, oh Christ, I've got to do that again.
But yeah, so it just sort of fell flat in the playoffs. I mean, what
literally fell at the final hurdle. Yeah. but to be fair, we lost against the team that went up, so you got to see how we go. I mean, we had a good season. We only lost, I think we lost five games in the league. We were pretty much.
I don't think we won 5 games. Did we win 5 games in the league? Ben, did we win 5 games in the league?
In the league, just about, wasn't it?
Just about. Anyway.
We were trying to work that out in the last game of the season.
Yeah, I'm going to look that up.
that and goals. We're working out how many times we'd scored twice. I think it was only about 3 times or something.
We won 8 games in the league.
Oh, what? Come on.
I know.
There you go. Anyway, sorry, Terry, I'm butting in on your bit.
No,
Go on,
that's
love,
cool. That's cool.
please.
That's cool. Yeah, I mean, we had games where we were. I mean, the game against Hythe's probably my second favourite because I think we were 2-1 down in the 90th minute, and we came back to win it 3-2.
Love it.
Literally.
Love those 3-2s, mate. Love it.
Yeah, honestly, I nearly passed out because I forgot to breathe. It was just like, cheering so loudly, you know. But it was a good season. We've had the good players, and they've been together as a team as well. They've been really. You can tell that they play for each other as well. Do you know what I mean? It's we've already signed 9 of them for next season. You know, we're focusing on the positives. It's been our best season for a little while. There's been some good football. We're unbeaten in the Ireland as it is. They haven't taken the points off us. They may have gone up, but we still turned them over on their big day. So yeah, it's been good. I mean, it's been the best results wise. It's just playoffs are a lottery as usual, you know.
Just looking at that, you think Sittingbourne 101 points and didn't get promoted.
Yeah.
Do you take those 2 out? It's pretty close, isn't it? And next season, I imagine that league's going to be a lot tighter. Like Ramsgate, Sittingbourne, obviously out of it. Not sorry, Sittingbourne. But yeah, that you say to those teams 101 points, you probably think you'd win that. So I mean, I'm just looking underneath that. It's going to be pretty competitive next season.
Well, I think we got more points this season than the previous 2 combined. So
yeah.
Well, I did hang on. I did the curse of the Laverick, the curse of the Sussex by the Sea podcast. I interviewed Aggie just before his when he was obviously at Worthing now. Just before the last few games, they obviously slipped up. And I did Sittingbourne. I had a Sittingbourne interview. So don't come on this podcast if you want to win anything. So other than you, Rob,
not to answer your calls then.
Exactly, mate. But yeah, go on. Sorry, Terry.
Yeah, so we've signed 9 players already for next season. So hopefully we'll keep the squad together. There's a couple of players I'm like still sitting there going, please.
Really opposite. We don't want to sign any of them, but yeah.
So that's how they've come over as a squad. They're a young squad. I think it's the first time we've actually held on to a goalkeeper for 2 seasons in the trot. So yeah, it's okay. We fell at the final hurdle, but we're already looking on to next season, you know. It's and Ben's doing a really good job with that, keeping the team for the fans, you know. I mean, we went out on the piss afterwards. We had our end of season presentation, and all the players came out with us, and it's just nice to have hope for once, you know.
Yeah, well, I don't know. We lost all hope this season. I think about December. I can't remember. I don't know. It was
September.
What's hope again?
Yeah. What's that word? Hope.
Oh, bless you guys.
Well, I think you really, to be honest, Terry, I thought you'd be a bit more pissed off about falling at the final hurdle, but it seems like the structure's there for your lot now, and it's not.
Yeah, it's
if it ain't this season, it'll be next season. You're going to be there or thereabouts.
Yeah, we're looking at it's a Sittingbourne not going up, but a bit of a fly in the ointment. But we're looking at it's like right, we've now got.
You've got that lovely away day with all those lovely people in Sittingbourne. Can't wait.
There's a nice tree in their ground.
Yeah, there you go.
I'm feeling positive. Yeah.
All right. Well, hey, talking of positive, I see Mr. Mark has joined us, and little baby was there, wasn't it?
There she is.
Look at that.
That's the reason that I've not been avoiding you.
No, mate. You've been down at gym, I know.
I promise. We've got a new Whitehawk supporter on the firm.
Oh,
beautiful, mate.
Thank you. Yeah. How are you all? Nice to see you. That's why it's been so long.
That's all right, mate.
Congratulations, Mark.
Yeah.
Thank you.
How's she sleeping? Is she all
Well,
right? Or
at the minute, she's sleeping like a dream. Yeah,
Oh, excellent.
She,
That's because it's all us.
Yeah.
Yeah,
She was
2 o'clock in the
awake before
morning,
she
that'll be a
joined.
different story.
She was
It's
awake.
how
Yeah, just put a Something for the Sea podcast on.
yeah, put that back.
She, she's sleeping how I feel at the minute. To be honest with you, but yeah, it's just unbelievable. To be honest, it's just you've seen me bang on about it quite a lot on Twitter and stuff, and it's just the most beautiful feeling in the world being a dad. It's nothing quite like it, and ever no
Very
feeling
true.
like it. Yeah, it's better than being a Whitehawk supporter. I'll tell you
Get
that.
out of it. What are you whinging about? What are you whinging about?
It's
You look destined for the drop, you lot. Early doors of the
Yeah.
season, you look destined. And obviously, Sean's come back in. Was it 10, 11 points off the drop now?
Yeah, I mean...
and you're moaning. Come on.
Sean, Simo, Hendon, Will Hendon, staff, even the players that come back and brought into Sean and the club again and just deserve so much credit. I mean, we finished... where did we finish in the end? In the league, where we finished 16th in the end. 16th, yeah. But it was chalk and cheese 2 halves of the season for us. And we had some really good results as well. I mean, you look at Dover going up, and fair play to Dover. A few of their players that I really like personally. But we went down there, beat them. But then some of the game results that we got as well, you was like, how's that happened? But just to stay up was just massive surprise. I think obviously if you'd have said, like I said to you in December, pretty much we stay up, it'd be a miracle. But Sean does what Sean does best, and he works miracles. And we've got players back in that just buy into the club, the supporters, and know what it means to play for Whitehawk Football Club.
That sounds good.
There was a few moody results in there in between, but we had a lot of good moments in the second half of the season, and I think in the end we were fully deserved to stay up. I don't think we looked like a team. I mean, we were just probably quite fortunate that you was having your wobble. Bowers were not very good, were they? To be honest. And a few teams blow us, but Canvey run us tight. I thought your lot, John, were gonna push us down there, mate, at one point, and
that wasn't until we turned up at your ground and rolled over. So
yeah, I know. But it's another season where the end of last season we finished 9th, and the form guide we finished on was so good. We obviously thought this season would have been the time to push on, but it is what it is. We're still in a division, still time to rebuild. Get some players in again that want to play for the club. It's always that way, isn't it? I think in these divisions that you have to have players that buy into the ethos and what it means to just as supporters. and then you've got Hastings United, and it's just a bit goes tits up. But no, it's But I think if we do recruit well, I think we've probably got to put a fair few quid into it, to be honest with you, in the summer. A lot of these teams, I just think players in general in these leagues now, their budgets are just ridiculous. Like they're asking for so much money. And the only way that you're going to get a squad which is going to compete at the top end is to literally pay silly money for players. So, if our owners' pockets are as deep as what they sort of make out and what we think they are, then I think it's time for them to prove themselves and get us out of this division, because obviously we thought it was going to be the year that we was going to push on, but fair play to Horsham as well, Rob, to be fair. Really good, mate.
Thank
really
you.
Good season. So hopefully we can follow in your footsteps next year. You never know. Some good away games. Burgess Hill coming up.
We're a tough old league next season, though. We were just talking about that before you came on. Like it's going to be pretty, brutal. I think Chatham are going to go. Folkestone are going to chuck some more money at it. I think with Jay Saunders down there, it's going to be a brute of a league. That Dartford, Billericay. I think you get in the playoffs. So then I think this has been proven. Anything in any league from national league to national, just at county level, you get in those playoffs, it's a lottery. It's a bounce of a ball, it's a posting in kind of thing. So you get in there, mate. It's anyone's game at the end of the day. Who thought Burgess Hill would go to Sittingbourne and get the result? So that
is literally the beauty of the Isthmian League, where I probably sound like a parrot, but anyone could beat anyone on their day. It depends what your
Well, they
11 are.
can't. They can't beat not everyone can beat Tommy.
I don't know
That's
about
just a
your,
lie.
I just don't know about you, mate. But it's like you said. I mean, Chatham were really strong, weren't they, towards the end of the season or through sort of the second half of the season, and they'll definitely be up there. And there will be a fair few teams, but like I say, you've got to really pay your way in these divisions now in this league. So I mean, I would rather personally get some boys in that just want to fight for the badge rather than saying someone, you're good, let's pay you £1,200 a week, something silly. And they don't really care. I'd rather get boys in that care, and we'll compete around like playoffs or mid-table and then see what happens. But yeah, Sean's done an unbelievable job. Simo, their record at the club is just, I mean, one of the finest managers in Sussex, old Sean Saunders. But yeah, really, really happy the way it went.
Thanks, love.
Can't grumble in the slightest. We survived and Hastings went down. So
Oh,
There it is.
I'm only joking. You know I'm joking.
Fucking Whitehawk.
You know I'd love, you know how much I'd love to be coming down to your gaff next season, mate.
No, well, it was a great away day when you come down.
Yeah,
2 seasons ago, or what? I can't remember.
Yeah, but you got Margate though, so that's a decent.
No, be a good away day.
Oh, like in all seriousness,
Probably be Tuesday night though.
All the boys were talking about it in our group, and we were saying how much we wanted Margate to come up because it's a good away day. But I suppose we've got Ramsgate on the flip side to it. You know what I mean? We've got one of them out that way. But yeah,
have your shots before you go, mate.
Yeah, good luck to you.
Well, yeah, last time I was at Margate, it was a bit heavy, so I'm probably glad to not be going up there. But no, it's obviously I'll still be rooting for you boys to come back up, and then hopefully the season after next we will be reacquainted over a beer and a good day out.
Well, when you get relegated?
Only if you do.
Don't, you're going to make the baby cry a bit, all right? Don't talk like that.
Right, and talking about crying, what a segue. Thank you for that, Mark. What a segue. Talking about crying, I think we're all crying as Hastings fans, aren't we, Ian and Ben?
No.
Well, I am then, you get. But yeah, a dire season. I've said it a few times on here. You know, it didn't start particularly well. The signs were there. We've had
the cones were there. What signs?
That's a Danny Bloor reference for anyone that don't know. When you run over the cone, but you had to have been there. Only me, you, and
Penn.
And yeah, Kane Penn know of the Danny Bloor cone. But yeah, we'll just keep it that way. But yeah, so long old season. We've been crap throughout. Lack of fight in the team has been just 1,000 cuts. The death of 1,000 cuts. Senior players not stepping up to the plate. Just rudderless. Obviously, poor old Chris, dying in the stands at Chatham. I mean, you can't make it. This is the worst relegation, and I've seen them with Sunderland when I used to go with my old man. Seen them get relegated loads of times. QPR a few times as well, but this is the worst relegation. It's the second relegation I've seen of Hastings, and this is by far. I'll ship a lot of them out. There's hardly anyone other than Louis Rogers. Keep the goalie, which is a funny thing to say when you've been soundly beaten all season. But I don't know. I've kind of waffled on about it. I'd rather let other people talk about it. Ian, you speak first, mate. Anything you want to add?
It's like we were talking about earlier about sort of if, buts, and maybes, and it's like if we hadn't been completely terrible all season, then we might have stayed up.
That's
but
it.
We were.
What an analysis! I love it.
You know, what can you say? We couldn't put. John was talking about, you know, enjoying 5 games or something over the course of the season. I think we'd struggle top 5 games from this season. Yeah. Really, I can't remember any games where I've thought, oh, well, that was, you know, well, I don't know, that maybe there were, but we probably lost them anyway.
Well, I probably would struggle because I probably drunk too much beer to just blot out these games. Yeah, I mean, it's just, I don't know. Could you think of 2 games in a row where we've been decent? I can't even think of.
No, I mean, that involves having to try and remember it all, and who'd want to do that, really? Because I think we were trying to forget it even while it was happening.
Well, yeah. I don't know. There's just no. I mean, any highlight. I cannot think of any highlights other than highlights against our own side where amusing things happened, but it's just been a terrible season. I mean, we beat Whitehawk. I'm sure didn't we scrape a 1-0 against Whitehawk?
Yeah. We won at Chichester away. It was quite a good win. It was quite a good day, wasn't it?
Well, yeah, but
of course we won at Whitehawk. Everyone wins at Whitehawk. Yeah. That's not hard.
But yeah, I mean, it's difficult to try and put this season into words. Really, it's
I mean, it's not though, is it?
Yeah, go on.
There are words, there are words.
There are words out there.
Yeah,
it's just putting them together.
Whether you want them, and whether YouTube would
allow it. Yeah,
that's the
I feel issue. That this season's been a hate crime. It's up there. It's a hate crime.
Crime against our own supporters.
And I think the support's been really good. That's one of the things I always want to talk about. The support has been there. I mean, when we got relegated the last time, we weren't getting 150 fans at the game. And that was when we were on our cup run, getting 3,000-4,000 at our grounds. When we went on the FA Cup, we got to the third round of the cup back about 12 years ago, 13 years ago now? And, no one turned up. But, we're getting 700-800, didn't we get for the last game? It's been around the 800s to 1,000s,
and some of the football has been absolutely dire as well. I mean, and not merely just games that we've lost, but the quality of the football.
And there's been no passion there. Like you've got your Ridaris, your Lovitts of the world, the senior players, and they've just been no. It's like they're not there. They're like anonymous and just the drift, which is I don't mind getting relegated if you've seen effort, you've seen passion, you've seen those players try. Either that they don't have that quality to unlock people, but they're at least giving some effort. But it's just not from a lot of the players moved on, then we brought the young players in, and you can't really blame them. There's no way you can throw stuff at them. The young lads, the 16, 17-year-olds we've been putting out for the last...
Well, I mean, to be fair, they didn't do any worse than anybody else has.
No, it's exactly. So it's just, I mean, I don't know. But Ben, do you want to add anything? I mean, I know you haven't been on all season. I think you were on at the start, maybe.
How long we got?
Till July, Ben.
July, yeah, go on.
We was top after 3 games. Did we not win 2 and draw 1?
Was one of those against Horsham?
Somehow, yeah, we should have.
But that Horsham game, I remember.
To be honest with you, I'm surprised it took so long for you to mention it.
Jake Elliott, I was chatting with Jake Elliott after that game because he was injured for your boys, yeah? And obviously, we love Jake Elliott. Great guy, yeah? So I'm sitting there chatting with him, and even though we beat you 2-0, it was like, this is, we were like, this is not...
Well, you got to mention in Dom's post-match interview on Saturday about Danny Braun, his sunglasses and celebrating on the touchline. And obviously, that's when Dom turned around. It's a marathon, not a sprint. So that's the sort of thing we said after that game. But yeah, it was.
Yeah, but Danny probably put money on us getting relegated after that match. But yeah,
yeah, probably that backs me up. Though we had no striker, we had a bloody striker. We wouldn't have won that game.
Well, yeah. That was the thing. It was just like we won the game
away from us as well.
No, it was a wonder strike. I think the second goal was a wonder strike. To be fair, but yeah, no, you can have that.
Thanks.
I'd rather be in the league, to be fair. I don't care about that. But yeah, no, it was that thing of we won 2-0. You'd had fucking about 28 chances on goal, and it was like, this is not good. This isn't, we are too easy to score against here. And it was Louis Rodgers again, someone that some of the fans don't particularly enamour to. I think he's been fantastic for us most of the season. He's been far too busy. And even then, it was like we're chatting with Jake Elliott. It was like, this isn't like, obviously we were talking about your lot will obviously kick on, but I wasn't sure at the time. I remember saying to him, I'd be happy with mid-table, and we've just beat your lot and we're top of the league, and I'm saying that it's got to be something wrong. But anyway, carry on, Ben, please.
But then a couple of weeks later, then obviously we went out the cups, didn't we? FA Cup and the FA Trophy, 2 consecutive games, I think, and then. Bloor grinded out a 0-0 at Cray Wanderers, who were bottom of the league at the time. Said it was an absolute masterclass defensive display. And then, when did Hendon, the 9-0 at Hendon?
Oh, that was when...
That was only Sean Ray.
That was Sean Ray.
That was October, wasn't it? October. But yeah, I mean, luckily enough, we didn't go to that. But I think there was a few of us.
I was at work at the time. I was at the station, working the station, everyone, and the customers were coming up to me and commiserating me because I had it on the little Hastings radio, and like as I'm giving information out, basically telling them their trains are cancelled. Come on, it's southern and southeastern, no trains run. But like, no, I'm joking. But like, and as these goals were going in, it's just like, how can you lose 9? I mean, And they still played it, and they played those lot played again for Hastings. It was like they wanted execution. Myself, but
if it wasn't for Louis, it was almost a 15, 16, 17 job, wasn't it? But I think I was saying to someone earlier on, actually, I think there was five players that played that day, and they still played the last game of the season. That's quite a lot. But then again, we saw the highlights. As I say, luckily enough, a few of us didn't go up there. Because I think that was probably one we might have voiced a good bit of negativity. To be fair, we're a supportive bunch. That's the trouble, and I think they've had a bit of a free pass. The players. I don't blame all the managers. I mean, it was a bad start. We had to give it a go. Razor's come in probably earlier than what was planned, and he tried to steady the ship. And he knows himself that. Couldn't have done any more probably. If a player's not helping him, that's probably pretty much wrong mentality from your so-called leaders, your Lovetts and Radaris, your so-called captains, and barely getting a word out of them on a football pitch, let alone a performance and a leadership. But and I do believe that's the big reason why we've gone down, because they've not helped any manager. I do think Danny Sell, he certainly tightened things up at the back a little bit. There was a few games in January, I think Carshalton away, which was 1-0. Was it 1-0 up? I think it was 1-0 up, and then they scored late to win it 2-1. We lost 1-0 at Horsham, which could have been 4-5 at half time.
I thought I was on the sorry to interrupt. I was on the Hastings radio that evening, and I thought you played all right. To be fair, I thought you were quite solid. We had a chance. Yeah, at home.
No. You had a lot of possession, and then I think we had a chance late in the second half. We almost could have nicked one. I think
even right at the end as well. I think when it's 1-0, it's a set piece. I was saying on the radio, it was frustrating because
it was a decent performance from us.
Yeah. I thought it was. I totally agree.
I thought Carshalton away as well was decent, and I know we lost 2-0 at Chatham. That was the memorial anniversary, not anniversary, but the tribute to Chris Taylor. And I know they played well, Chatham. I was quite impressed. I wasn't surprised after that. They went on a good run, and I thought they would push for the playoffs because they looked really good. But we stayed in the game, and then they had a handball second goal, which obviously killed the game. They weren't really. We didn't look very effective. I think we had a header late on. Might have ended up getting a 1-0 when obviously they got the second goal. The games were certainly a lot tighter.
We're getting run through.
The problem was the mentality side. Even come middle of March, we had a run of games where potentially we could have stayed up, but we didn't have hope.
They weren't up for it. They were done. We
didn't believe we could. We didn't believe they could do it. So if they clearly didn't believe it from your captains. The big thing for me is every time we conceded a goal, it was a head dropper from your pivot. And if the others see that, then what hope have you got?
And that's the thing. The key thing to know is none of us got on their backs. Yeah, there was
they're lucky.
All support all season, and you'd think actually maybe we should have turned on them. But I mean, I'm not that type of supporter. But that was the unbelievable thing.
There's plenty of times we could have done. Like I say, if there was a big group of us up at Hendon, I think it would have happened then.
Well, that was shot. I mean, that was a nightmare.
But it doesn't. It never helps, though. It never makes any difference.
I was just saying, maybe, but
it doesn't.
They behaved that they played like we were on them, and we weren't. Do you get what I mean? They were uninspired. They were just.
Well, I think because it's just been like a season of flatlining, really, in that there haven't been any bits. Usually, there's a bit where you go on a bit of a run and you think, oh hello, there's a bit of signs of life, and there just haven't been anything. And if you're a Southampton and you're in a division where you're just totally out of your depth, that's one thing to be flatlining the whole season. But at no point has that squad not been capable of more this season, and at no point has it delivered it.
It looked like a bit of a chore. That's what.
Just looked like they didn't want to be there.
It looked like a bit of a chore. They was getting paid a bit of money, and they was just out there and because we are a supportive bunch, they didn't feel pushed, and they should be pushed because we are supportive. We back them, so they should be giving you that extra spark. I mean, there are plenty of games we could have literally just not bothered. We sang to the end most games, and what more can you do as fans? But they have let us down.
That's what's been.
So they've let managers down, and they've let us down. So, but
I think. Sorry to jump in. I also, when you're talking about not trying to get on their back, I think when we was obviously having our tough period for the first half of the season, I mean, me and quite a few supporters were very vocal. I quite openly told the players, you ain't good enough to be here. I told them all to their faces. Said to them, you're rubbish. I don't know why you want to be here, because you clearly don't want to be here. If you don't want to be here, go find another club. And then when Sean come in, Sean said exactly the same to all the players. He said, I'm here now. You either want to play for this football club or leave. And you've literally got to play for your money, or you want to play for the club. If you don't, then see you later. And I think that was the kick up the arse, basically, that was needed. I actually went on Twitter and said, you're all not good enough to play for us. You're rubbish. Proper weighing on them, to be fair. And I'm not saying I had.
Well, maybe it gets that. Yes, well, as Ian said, maybe it gets you somewhere. I don't know.
The supporters, I think, if you're paying your money and you're going along every week, tell them what you think. Tell them. I mean, that's just how. Tell them. Do you know what I mean? At the end of the day, if you're paying your money and you support that club and you love that club, say to them, it's not good enough. It's just not good enough at all. I think
when you think of how much you end up paying to go to away games and everything else,
I think sometimes just sitting on your hands and just sort of trying to be like, well, you know, and I do get that point, because you don't want to sort of be that person that's trying to feel like you're upsetting the camp and whatever. But at the end of the day, you're going to be there at that football club a lot longer than what them players are going to be.
I hope so. I hope
know
so.
what I
I hope
mean?
lots of those ones have gone.
That goes back to the old saying, doesn't it? The name on the front of the shirt is more important than the one on the back.
Exactly.
It doesn't matter what level you play. Like we people don't understand Horsham fans. We're a bit weird, to be honest with you. But like the Lardy concept, we won't back. We were shy. So back in the day, we were homeless for 11 years. So the Lardy concept is that we don't get back on the players. We don't, we support them, and we can, even if they're crap, and we know they're crap. And we've been away days in the county league and been beat 5-6-0, and we still don't get the back. But I can understand why fans do that. And like I said before you joined, Mark, next season is going to be really interesting from my point of view. Like, if we don't do so well, like there's only so many fans in the last 2 or 3 years that have only seen success.
Mm-hmm.
What happens then when we're getting beaten week in, week out? We might win 1 game in 8 instead of going on a 7-8 game winning streak.
And I know, mate, and I completely see that point of view, and it's about being realistic of from a Horsham perspective again. Okay, I mean, without saying, I think you probably overachieved really this season, because your players have clearly wanted it this season. They've clearly said, your staff. I mean, I spoke to your assistant manager the other week. He pulled me up and he went, "Oh, you watched Wild, didn't you?" And I said, "Yeah." And we started talking. He said, "Oh, I'm Horsham assistant manager." And we started talking. And I said, I could see it in your team weeks ago how hungry they are for promotion.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think,
and if you're going into this, and if you've got supporters that are going into this season thinking, "Oh, well, we should go up again," then they're, quite frankly, a lot of them are quite deluded. You've got to be like, well, you've got to be realistic.
Absolutely. The thing is with Dom, he keeps the main core players. Like, we've had some of these players. He's had 3 of these players from 7-8 years, and Dom hates signing players, so we keep that like sort of knit group that is there. We've only had 30 players all season. 18 of them started pre-season, who finished on the Saturday. And I think Chatham, when we got beaten in the playoffs in Chatham, and Terry was probably, that's why she's not so disappointed, because you could see it's coming, and it's just you only
that's exactly right. We've this season's the first time we've kept a core. And
that's the key for me. You've got to keep that main.
We've got no
other
core.
Seasons
we've got no core.
No.
Yeah.
What do you do when you ain't got a core?
I just think
get relegated.
We've all got. I just think we all know. I think we all know where our clubs should be and where we shouldn't be. And I think when we feel like we're underachieving, I do feel like, maybe I personally pull it across sometimes a bit stronger than what others might do, but I still feel like you're
honest.
Yeah, you have to. I feel like sometimes you just have to tell them, look, we're here. We essentially help pay your wages as high as they are. Silly money in these leagues, and just be honest with them. But yeah,
a bit too late for that now, Mark.
Well,
You're fucking relegated, mate.
It is. But then next season, though, Chris, at the same time, mate, next season, in a way, you're gonna expect to come back up, aren't you? Really? It's a whole new team. It's going to be a whole new team.
What do you? This is probably a completely different podcast, but what do you think you'll do next season? Like briefly, how do you think it's going to go? Do you think you're going to clear out and it's completely like toilet flush and flush everyone out and go again? Or
personally, I hope the log that is this season is flushed away, and we just start realistically and just try to build. And if we're in the Southeast League 3-4 years, whatever, I'm not bothered. I want some stability at the club. Yeah. I don't want. It's just
end of the day. We want players that literally give it everything for their shirt.
It hasn't happened this season.
We didn't really have. It didn't look like at times they were that bothered.
I think what Mark's been saying to me needs to come from people in the squad. There's got to be people in the. I mean, in the past we have had those characters who you think, well, if somebody's slacking, they're going to be pinned against the dressing room wall with somebody screaming at them that it's not good enough. And that, to me, comes from. I don't think it necessarily comes from the manager, unless that manager.
You hope that comes from the captain. You want
that's leaders, though.
Personalities within that squad.
That's leaders, though, isn't it? You want leaders in your squad. And that's the ones that do it.
Standard setters,
That's what we've had this season. That's what we've had this season. We've got Harry, we've got Ben. And because they've done like a little like behind the scenes video thing, and you can see what they've been up to through the season, and we've got those players and those the support for each other in the squad. We've had that this season. Okay, as I say, we fell at the final hurdle, but that's what they've been doing all season. They've been there for each other, and they've told each other when they're not doing well.
Exactly.
It's just so quiet out on the pitch. It was just so quiet. I mean, right the way through, there was just no voices. I mean, I went to a couple of away games, and we had a corner, and you couldn't even see there was no organising.
No calling.
It was like
it was going to hit the first man anyway. They all knew it. They were just going through the motions.
I'm shouting at Dav, and he was captain at the time. I think he was chatting away. Actually, it was only 1-0 down. We had a corner. Get him going, rally them up, and he just stood there, just kind of went like that.
Well, thing is, I think you're right. You either are that person or you're not. To be fair, and what's been unfortunate is that we've lost all the people who are like that from the squad, mainly because they've got old and retired. But we used to have players like that, and if you have players like that, they're irreplaceable. And when they go, they leave a massive hole. And David and Adam and so on, they're not those players. They're just not those people.
What you need is to find a couple of gems from Hastings to give it.
It's easy as that, mate. Just pick them out of the wilderness.
Get your boots back on, Chris. Get out.
Like, you see me play football.
I
know all the dark arts, though. I know the dark arts of football, but that's about it.
Walking football, is it?
Yeah, mate. Hey, Hastings Whitehawk fan game. That's what I want.
Well, you've done the double over. Oh, I'll have a bit of that.
Yeah.
I'd come and watch that.
Yeah, that'll be lively. He'd break my leg within about 20 minutes.
I'll just go and go a bit easier. Like that.
You're allowed. You've got to be out on the pitch, mate. Don't worry. But I mean, have we got anything else to add about Hastings, or is it done?
Unlucky.
How many?
Not unlucky. Not unlucky.
Yeah. Come on, Chris. How many do you reckon are still going to be there? Starting.
What? Even like the young lads?
Who would you keep?
Well, Louis in goal, and there you go.
Says it all, really, doesn't it?
You'd keep the kids, though, wouldn't you?
Yeah, the kids. Yeah, but it's not.
I'm not saying the kids are the answer, but you wouldn't get rid of them, would you?
No,
the kids. As I said earlier, the kids are not the problem.
No,
okay, but equally, you're talking 16, 17-year-olds. You can't.
Yeah. No, I'm not saying they're the answer. I'm just saying you wouldn't get.
You win nothing with kids,
Finn.
Ian.
Where
did we hear that?
I'd keep Finn Chapman. I'd keep Finn.
Yeah. Sorry, I forgot about him. What about?
I think he should have played a lot more games. He was. I thought when he played, he looked like he cared. Looked like.
People said that about Freddie as well, and Freddie started like 30 games this season.
Did he?
Yeah, started loads.
He faded badly. He faded badly though, and maybe.
Hasn't played well. Kean hasn't played well. Finn hasn't played well. I think there hasn't been a single player that we've put out who's actually improved this season. That's there. You could include.
I think with Freddie though, I think it's very much a confidence thing, and I think if he's guided the right way, and it looks like he needs someone on the sidelines that's right on him all the time. He's the same with someone like Keane, which I think he's pretty poor, and he's way.
I reckon he's gone. I reckon Keane's gone.
That level. He's another one that
I heard Chatham have put a little bid in for him. Apparently, that's what I've heard.
But he's another one that needs.
No, I don't miss him.
He needs a rocket up his arse to get him going. He's just so laid back and just like he doesn't care really.
That's what we've got to get back to, though, isn't it? Improving players, coaching players, improving players.
What do you reckon will happen with Ollie Black?
But he's gone back to Worthing, isn't he?
Yeah, I know. But do you think?
Look at that! Look at poor old Ollie Black here. Ollie Black should have been our captain when he came back. Yeah, he wasn't 100% with us, but his 70-80% was far better than most.
I mean, he's not vocally a captain, but the way
he plays, intensity,
and that's his captain.
Goes straight back to Worthing, goes in the playoff, gives a penalty away, game over. Poor old Ollie Black. Yeah, he gave a penalty away.
Oh, no way.
Bless him. Because he's a good, honest lad as well.
He done well for us when he was there.
So that's a bit of a shit season for him as well. So I'm sure the Worthing fans love him, but we'll have him back at Hastings.
But let's all agree we're glad to see the back of that one.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Look, listen, it's been yes, we've been relegated, but it's been great to have all of you on. You know, let's not take football too seriously. It is what it is. The ups and downs, as fans, we're always there for them, aren't we? So
you ride the ups and downs, don't you? We had a couple of good seasons where 2 or 3 good seasons, and then we had a really stinker. So it's got to bounce back now.
Bounce back ability. That's what Ian Dowie said, isn't it? It's your bounce back ability. Well, listen, have a lovely summer. Terry from Margate, Ian from Hastings, Rob from those winners in Horsham, John from the mighty Canvey, Ian from that Haringey. It won't be 3 in a row, will it, Ian? It's not going to be 3 in a row.
It better not be.
No, and Mark from those Whitehawk boys, and of course Ben from the mighty Hastings. Have a wonderful summer. Take care, lads.
Thank you.
And ladies.
You
And,
too, guys.
See you again.
Okay.
See you at the bar.
Guys.
Cheers, everybody.
Have a good summer.